Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and episode 3 of Ask BRICKMAN 117. Today, while I answer your questions, you will be watching me starting to sort out the latest eBay haul I got, which I showed you was incredibly dusty and mucky. So it all needs to be sorted out, separated and sent through the washing machine before I can start assembling it to see what I got. Which brings me nicely on to the first question posted by the Sightless Blood. You mentioned you put your hauls through the wash. How do you do this without losing pieces in the washer? Do you put them in a special bag or wash cycle? Yes, I do. I put them in a special bag. It's just basically a swim training float bag that I put my float and my fins in when I go swimming. I've just got one of these for that, and I've got another one for sorting all of the blocks out that I need to put through the washing machine. If you put them in one of these bags, you shouldn't lose any pieces. You just tie it up nice and tightly, and when I put it through the wash, I put it on a cold wash with one detergent tablet in there, and that generally tends to bring everything up super duper clean. It is also worth mentioning, you'll see in this video I'm separating all the pieces as well. At the moment I'm just sorting all the figures out, but later on you'll see I'm separating the pieces, because if you don't separate every individual piece you will end up with water trapped in between the blocks and then it won't dry out properly. So you have to take every single piece apart, put it through the washer, and then you can put it back together, or you can just sort it for spares. Next question from Alex. By any chance, could you get a comment from Mega Constructs about possibly re-releasing sets from the past? If you're referring to them re-releasing sets in their existing form as opposed to when they redo sets like the 10th anniversary aerial ambush, they re-released that set but in a completely different design, which was an upgrade. And I think that's why you won't see them release an old set, because they've progressed so far in their building quality and standard. I don't think they'd simply want to reproduce an old set, as it wouldn't stand up to their current standards. So I think it's unlikely that they're going to re-release any of the old sets, even though many of us would like to see some of those old sets come back. I think it's highly unlikely. Which leads nicely on to Robert Lamb's question. Is there a Halo set that you would like to see a remake of? Definitely, lots of ones. Like they've done the 10-year anniversary aerial ambush, I'd like to see them go back and do half of the range they've done for the first 5 years. For example, as I just mentioned, the assault on high ground I think would make a fantastic remake. I think they could do a really good job of remaking that with current pieces, maybe slightly bigger, and make it so it's really versatile, so you can just add on and just keep going to build it as big as you want. I think it's something that fans have been crying out for a long time. And to me, it seems like a relatively simple one to design, because it is just a building. So when you look at the original Assault on High Ground set, it's a very basic build. It's just blocks on top of blocks, so not overly complex. Noble6 Originals asks a few questions. First, if you had in mind something for me to make a custom build of, what would it be? I would always build what you like, because if you don't build what you really like, you won't see it through. So I would say whatever your favorite vehicle is or spacecraft, I would say choose that, because if you really like that vehicle, that's what will commit you to seeing it through. It's not easy creating custom builds, so you've got to really want to do it. So I would advise you to choose whatever inspires you the most. Second, do you have any social media platforms like Instagram or Discord? I'll be honest, I'm not very into social media. I don't use it personally in any regard apart from YouTube. So I have started posting things on Instagram just to try and boost the channel's awareness, which also follows through to its Facebook channel, but it's very few and far between. So yes, if you do want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you can find me under. And finally, how did you sort out your pieces and parts? Because I have a ton and want to make customs like you. If you want to see how I sort my pieces, the best thing to do is probably watch my studio tour video, which I show most of my sorting trays. That would probably be the best way to figure out how to sort it. It is a very long-winded process, but well worth doing, because once you've done it, it makes building so much more easier and enjoyable. Next up, Jonta asks, since you've been in contact with Mega Constructs, do you have any inside information about distribution outside of America? Not really, nothing more than the official line on the Mega Constructs forums from Mega Constructs themselves. They are aware of the problem, they're trying to fix it. Other than that, no, I don't have any other additional information. Comic Club asks, will you ever make stop motions? You have sufficient figures and pieces for a set. Please make a stop motion. I would love to make stop motions. It's one of the main reasons I started this channel, but I very quickly became aware of how time consuming it is making stop motions. I don't have an awful lot of time. It's difficult making these videos which don't take as much time as stop motion. So one day hopefully I will. Keep an eye out for it. I'm sure I will at some point, but in the immediate future I've got no plans to be able to do that, unfortunately. Beastmaster Gaming asks, what's the most money you spent on a Mega Construct set? It's probably the UNSC Infinity set. When it first came out, I think it was retailing at around £200 possibly, or was it $200? And I bought that straight away. I didn't want to miss out. I've missed out on so many signature sets in the past. I paid full price for it on release, and that's probably the most expensive set I've ever bought. Which takes us nicely on to Walking Bricks question. Where do you find used sets for the lowest price? I'm looking for a Spirit dropship, but the least I can find it for is on eBay for $400, double the MSRP. Yeah, you're right, those Spirits are very hard to get hold of, although for the first year to 18 months of release, you were able to get them for an incredibly low price from Amazon.com. But it's the same as Lego sets. Once they go out of production, the price just skyrockets, and once they're not available on the usual retail outlets, everywhere else they just go up in value. I'm still trying to get hold of the NMPD Pelican Airbase, but it's proving to be all but impossible to find that set in brand new condition, and when you do see it, it's nigh on $600. So yeah, they do really go up in price, and I definitely feel your pain there. There's lots of signature series sets I still don't have because you simply can't find them for anywhere near reasonable price. Gold Arbiter 42 asks, going again, hopefully I get picked, but I have a general question about the mocks you do in terms of time and pieces you use to create these amazing models. So my question is, do you believe honestly that Mega should have sets that prioritize builders kits like for mocks like yours? Lego has a couple of builders kits to encourage people to build and create their own creations without limitations of just specifically buying sets only for pieces. I honestly feel Mega should have a concept like that where they can make pieces available and open to buy from like an official branch for Mega. What do you think of this? Couldn't agree more. It would make my life so much more easier if I could just go onto something like Bricklink and just order the exact amount of the parts that I require. Whether they'll do that or not, I don't know. Until that point, I'll just continue to buy older sets and get my pieces that way. But it does tend to be a very expensive way to collect Mega Constructs. They have released in the Infinite line a building block set, which is a UNSC based one, which I'm sure you've seen. So that's a start and a step in the right direction of general pieces for building, but you're still limited by the pieces in those sets. So how useful it will be for general mock building, I don't know. Matthew Dwyer asks, can you say one thing you dislike about Mega Constructs, excluding the distribution? Yes, I can. One of the things that I don't like about Mega Constructs, which isn't necessarily Mega Constructs as a brand across their entire line, but I only generally buy the Halo sets, and one thing I always find myself in short supply of are general neutral building colour blocks and pieces, and also foliage pieces. I'd quite like to be able to create some trees and different things like that, like you can across the Lego range. They have a huge variety of foliage pieces. The foliage pieces that Mega Constructs do have, I think, are incredibly good. The ones you'll see scattered all across the Ultimate Assault and High Ground mock, I'm a big fan of, and especially as you can add them onto round tubes if you had them to be able to make trees or palm trees. But yeah, unfortunately in this range they don't have an awful lot of that. I'd have to expand out into other sets. I believe there are some palm trees in the Minion sets, but I don't really want to go buying shed load of Minion sets just so I can get a couple of palm trees. So yeah, that's one thing I don't like about it. the variety isn't there because you can't buy things individually. It limits you as to what you can use for your mocks. So there you go, one thing I don't like. Aidan O'Keefe asks, how much did it cost to make the Assault on High Ground mock? That's a good question. I don't know exactly, but I would say on average I've had to pay anywhere from £25 to £45 if I've bought an Ultimate Assault on High Ground set on its own, but I've also got a lot of them in hauls where I've paid a larger price for a much higher volume of pieces, so it's difficult to calculate how much those sets cost me. There's also a lot of base plates in there from lots of other sets. I would say an estimate is probably £400 to £600 worth of sets and hauled pieces that I've bought to make that mock. And that's just about it for this episode's Ask Brickman 117 question. So I'll come back to you with another video once we've had some more questions. If you do want to leave a question, make sure you put it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.